Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines Mass Transit. And as you can see, I have been busy making some substantial changes, the main one of which is the addition of a rail connection. So this is the back of our sort of new expansion zone over here, and you can see what I've done is I've started to create an expansion over into the next block, which is something we'll be getting to at some point in the future. And I've used the new shallow stepped razors to create a nice shallow incline in the build up to that bridge, because it just looks a lot better, I think, like that. And I've got a little station here with a passing loop which then runs into the hill, goes through the hill, comes over here and comes out here at the other side of the hill, and then into another little passing loop for another little station which isn't connected up to anything yet, but it's there. That'll be our first stop, and then that runs all the way down here. And because of the incline in this area, what I've done is I brought it around at this kind of sweeping curve around the side of Nicholson Farm here to join up with the external rail connection and then go off the map that way there. What I've also done is I've made some changes to the rail freight network as well. So this now comes in here, and whereas before it kind of stopped around about here, this is something we were talking about actually last episode. I've now brought it all the way down to here and linked it to both of our industries just here. So we now have a connection for regular sort of industrial freight traffic to come in through here, along here, join up with the incoming freight traffic from our lumber industry, and also allow for, you know, some traffic to kind of shortcut its way out again as well. And then it kind of loops around here. We've got a little turn off here, so you can see that the lumber trucks can shortcut back to the lumber district without having to go through the main industry district. And then obviously we've also got a route here for our sort of other industry to come through and rejoin into this area here as well. So that's our new kind of industrial area over here. Let's just see if we can actually see a vehicle using the full exit route. Let's get a bit of extra speed on it. It looks as though most... Oh, here we go. So you can see we do have some traffic that then escapes back into this part of the industry for deliveries and so on and so forth. But the vast majority of it does tend to sort of filter out back over here and then back up to the main road just here. I've also added in a little side road here. This is to add in a little bit more residential. And then I've reworked this area a little bit, as you can see. So I've got a dead zone here at the moment. This is waiting for a demand for residential, so that we can get some people moving into this little block just here. Again, all low density. And then I've just sort of put in a mix of offices and commercial around the station, just to try and give us a little bit of business here at the station. And I've dropped a little park in here as well, a little plaza with some trees. So everything seems to be running quite nicely at the moment. Actually got a really big building just here. I've also made some changes to the bus network a little bit as well. I've reallocated where the buses stop a little bit, and I've put the blue bus, which was our commercial bus, all the way here on the very end, because that is the bus with the route with the most number of buses. And I was finding that, you know, it would sometimes cause big queues sort of being right here, like next to the yellow buses, stopping everything else getting in. So I figured putting it all the way over here means that if I do get a couple of blue buses queuing, it's not holding up all the other buses from getting to their stops. So a little bit of reorganizing as to which platform each bus goes from. But significantly, what I've also done is reroute the blue bus itself, so it now runs down here along Arran Avenue, has a stop here, and then, as you can see, carries on along here down the dedicated bus lane. Got an incredibly busy stop just here. Most people tend to be using this stop now as opposed to the actual bus station, but we do get quite a few people using the station still. And then links onto the roundabout, and from there it then goes into the commercial district here. And what I've done is I've tried to play about in a couple of places with these asymmetrical roads a little bit. So you can see here I've got one lane going in, splitting to two lanes there, so that we have a choice of lanes for traffic coming down here. and then same on the other side. And I love the way that you can see it kind of creates that little island in the middle like that. I love that. It's such a nice little touch. So I've been playing around with some of those. I've got a few more of those little asymmetrical roads popped in. There's another one just here as well, look. And there we go. And that's essentially what I've been busy with, you know, is just tweaking things. And then obviously over here as well, I've started building a road connection. This is all just standard road. It will be upgraded to, you know, dual lane highway, but it comes around up the hill, around the corner, and to sort of a roundabout here, ready to feed off and build into this area here. I may actually possibly need to bring the roundabout back a bit further. Might be a bit too far forward. But there we go. That now gives us a direct route up into this plateau up here. Oh, excuse me. And then we can also, you know, potentially put it like a small side road coming off here somewhere, going up the hill into this area as well. I've got these wind turbines up here still. May get rid of those at some point in the future. But our little area is really starting to expand quite nicely now. Getting lots and lots of fires in our industry area. What I have done is I've enacted the fire distribution, the smoke detector distribution policy, which I had initially put in place and then took off when I was battling costs to try and stop my town from going bankrupt. I've reenacted that in the commercial district, or the industry district over here, because I was finding that, you know, when one building went up, all of a sudden 6, 7, 8 buildings in the same block all went up at the same time. You know, the whole block would start burning down and it would spread very quickly to other buildings. By having the smoke detector policy, we still get fires, but a lot less fires than we did before, so it's made that a lot more manageable. And it's always a risk that when you have a fire breakout in a zone like this and you do have, you know, heavy traffic moving through here, it can sometimes slow the emergency response service getting there, especially when you have this kind of one-way network that we have. So that's why I've implemented that policy change there. It seems to be working really well. And here you can see a great load of traffic, you know, feeding off our recent delivery from our cargo hub there, feeding in there. What I've also done as well is I've renamed this business to Pecky's Limited, because one of my subscribers has requested to have this business named Pecky's Limited. So there you go, Martin. That is Pecky's Limited. But seeing as we would never ever see that again, because it doesn't pop the name on the building anywhere. It doesn't. It's still just called Cargo Centre. There's no name that shows up. What I've also done is I've also named the road that feeds into that as Pecky Lane as well. So you can see there, Pecky Lane runs up to here, and then Wilson Street takes over, which is our industrial road there. And we've got a little tiny little side bit just there. But this is all Pecky Lane, so that, you know, we will actually see your name on the screen from time to time. So I hope you're happy with that. Let's see. I do need to add another one. We'll do that a little bit later. Did I turn this building off? It should be off. Yes, it is turned off. Okay. So this here is just going to be our sort of a main sort of access route for this station here. This is where I'm expecting a lot of our initial trains to kind of come to. And then I've just put a little turning circle in just here, a little turning roundabout, so that traffic doesn't just kind of go and then loop around at the bottom of the road, which it works, but it looks a little clunky. So I figured to have a small little turning roundabout here for the buses and everything to come in, turn around and drop off at the station or pick up from the station, and then that'll feed back out into this area over here. So I think a little business park somewhere along here perhaps, or maybe even a little tourist area over here overlooking the hills, overlooking the city, is something that we could do in this zone here. Not sure what to do in this area. Maybe have some business in this area, some offices or something. And then we've got a nice good residential area over here that we can kind of mess around with, going all the way up to this kind of corner. What I am going to do, and I'll continue doing that now actually, is I'm just going to step the hill down a little bit because it is still pretty tall. So let's just roll back a little bit of the height over here, because we already have quite a lot of elevation change. We don't need to add yet another height layer on top of that as well. So where it's higher, I'm just reducing it down, but I'm not going to be raising it up. You know, we will be using the tool to smooth the terrain a little bit and make things a little bit more manageable. I am actually going to see if I can play about with the entrance like that. Yeah, that looks kind of cool, I think. And we'll try and see if smooth that off a little bit, just so it's not quite so severe. So let's try and just soften that down a little bit. There we go. Just kind of drag that down towards our little turning roundabout there a little bit. Okay, so that's what I've been up to in the downtime. Traffic has been flowing really, really well with some of those tweaks and everything that I've been putting in. So just to show you, there's that new blue bus line that runs down this route here and then feeds in that way. Everything else has been running really smoothly, and if we take a look at our info views and go to traffic, you can see that you have the obvious busier points, you know, at the end of like the industry areas, but they're not choke points, they're just busy at the moment. Everything else runs really, really smoothly, and again, you get a little busy here when you get a lot of buses coming in, but it's not a choke point, not yet. And seeing as it's pretty much only buses that come down here, it shouldn't get any worse unless we start throwing in another 10 or 20 buses into that area as well, in which case it might start to get a bit problematic. Over here, this small road here can queue a couple of times, but it's nothing major. It's just waiting for the traffic lights. It's the main sort of route into this block here, and everything else has been running and flowing really, really smoothly. So it's just the obvious little short roads here that you would expect there to be a little bit of a queue, but apart from that, everything seems to be running really, really smoothly, really, really well. So I'm very happy with our road network as it stands so far. One thing I do want to do though is I want to take advantage of one of the features of the Snowfall DLC, and that is to add in a road maintenance depot. So these boost the performance of the roads and allow your vehicles to actually go faster. So that again should help with traffic flow a little bit as well. So if we go back to info views, you'll see here we've got a road maintenance tab in the overlays now. So you can see the coverage is non-existent at the moment. We have 0 coverage, and obviously depending on where we place our road maintenance depots, that'll start to add green to those roads so we can see where is covered. But this is the condition here. So we don't have roads that deteriorate, but we do have roads that are just in normal condition, and that's all of these roads. They're all in red. They're just standard normal condition. So obviously highway is not counted as part of that. It's just standard type of roads. But what this will do is, as we drop those in, it'll start to boost the performance of the roads and make them faster and faster and faster. And so they'll start to enable traffic to move around the city quicker. So that's what I want to kind of mess around with. So let's start looking at dropping in a maintenance depot or two. And I kind of like the idea of having one here in this spot just here, instead of that really tall office building. It's maybe slightly problematic with adding in some additional vehicles around the bus loop. We'll see. We only have, I think, 3 vehicles in service at the moment because I slashed the budget by 50%. Yeah, we only have 3. So let's just go to economy. Let's go to budget. And let's boost this back up. We'll put it up to 75. Don't want to go too heavy on it just yet. There we go. I want to see what kind of performance we get from the first one. So we go back to info views, and already you can start to see some of these roads are being boosted. So we should start to see traffic moving faster on those roads. There's one of our maintenance trucks there, look. So it boosts that road, and immediately you do get a little bit of a speed boost for the cars involved. It does kind of push them not up to freeway speed, but closer to freeway speed. So if we get an idea of the speed of the vehicles moving through here, and then you can see they're a little bit slower moving around on that road there. It's not a massive boost in speed, but it helps. It adds a little bit more. So we'll leave those guys out, and we'll see how much they can do. That budget increase should give me at least 4 trucks, maybe 5 now. Let's see. Oh, we've got 6. Wow. Okay, so we have 6 of those trucks going out and boosting our roads and improving performance a little bit. It's going to increase our expenses, but money is not an issue, as you can see. We're making pretty good money at the moment, over $7,000 a day. And we're also sitting on 2 million. So having let the city run to kind of check out new expansions and also to zone in and let these buildings spawn in, that has obviously generated quite a lot of income while we've been making profits. So it's good to have that kind of spare cash lying on hand, because terraforming is horrifically expensive. So every time I come and dump some soil over here so that we can start taking it from other places on the map, it starts to add up very, very quickly. I can give you an example of just how quickly we can run that down. If I drop a little bit more of our soil over here, set my height point. There we go, run out of soil, but I've just spent $115,000 in the space of 3 seconds. So it gives you an example of just how expensive things can get very, very quickly. Yeah, I think we're ready to start zoning into this area and developing over here. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to start, I think, by maybe building something up on this plateau. Kind of like the idea of having a little town up here. But I should really probably connect this station up here as well and start doing something in this area. So let's look at doing that first. So I basically want to have a kind of a loop that runs around this section here. So I'm going to have a main road, and this is currently 2-lane, but it may get upgraded to 3-lane. And this is going to be kind of our ring road that runs around the city there. And then coming off here, we're going to have the same over here. We'll have kind of a busy sort of ring road that'll feed into a almost like a choke point, I suppose. And then from there we can put a small roundabout in, and it will be a small one, just to help move some of the traffic around a bit. There we go. Just need to make sure it was all the right size. There we go. Bring that in like that, and then what I can also do now is I can bring this road down here to connect up to our station. Like so. And we'll mess around and reallocate the road types in a moment. I just want to get the actual shape in. I've just realised I built that roundabout on a crest of the hill there, so I'm going to take these out. I'm just going to flatten that little bit of terrain because, you know, roundabouts on hills tend to look pretty bad. So let's set our level. Just roll that back just a little bit. Let's rebuild the roundabout. There we go. And a much smoother roundabout. I don't mind having that little raised lump in the middle. I think that actually looks a little bit better to have a little raised mound in the middle. Obviously these crossroads aren't going to be there. And we'll put some trees in the middle. I did actually experiment with that over here just to see what it would look like as a visual. So I dropped in a lot of bushes and trees on that roundabout there, and dropped in some trees around the side of the park just there as well, just to create a slightly more scenic kind of little area over there. And we will at some point go in and start dropping in, you know, some real areas like this. One thing I do want to try and do is create a little forest area somewhere as well for people to walk through, and I doubt it'll get many people using it, but we'll put a little forest in, and we'll put some dirt roads in, some dirt paths in for people to kind of cut through and walk through a forest. I think that'll be quite a nice little visual thing to have on the map. And you can see there's our maintenance trucks already kind of doing their thing over here. We've got no traffic coming up here yet, but our trucks are doing what they can to sort that out for us. And from here, we're going to break off this kind of dual carriageway road. We'll have probably some junctions coming off into this block here, maybe feeding across to this block here. And then we'll have a single roads now from this point onwards. So let's start actually by putting in a little side road coming off here. Just so we can get some offices running along this piece of space just here. Like so. I might do the same here actually. Maybe have a little road that comes across like this, with a few offices coming just off the side there. That could be quite interesting. That might potentially get taken out, but it gives us again something else in this area. So from here, I'm going to want a road that's going to kind of link across. There we go. And from here we can kind of create a mirror road. Just trying to decide if I want this to actually link up with the other two roads or not. For now I'm just going to bring it down to... That's a bit too far. Bring it down to there. And this gives us, you know, a great sort of way to bring spokes off through this area. We're not going to do it just there, but we will do it just sort of here. Try and fill this area up a little bit. There we go. I might leave that little area just a little bit clear, actually. Oh, I'll tell you something we could do as well. We could look at bringing in the football stadium. Although I kind of want that somewhere over here where the city's going to be bigger and have more rail access. You know, but it's something we could look at, is having some kind of little venue over here. Maybe we could stick a few basketball courts in over here. I don't know. We'll think of something. So right now we just have the single access point over here. Let's bring this road down. Connect it there. Do I want anything coming off this way? Yeah, let's put a road on here. There we go. And let's do something in this little block over here as well. Again, I'm thinking this is going to be sort of like a little office area over here. Just take the road out like that. There we go. Just trying to keep this area relatively simple. So we've got a nice little kind of block of area over here for offices, and a good transport link just here as well, for traffic to get in that way. And we've also got a short route over here to the bus station, to the train station as well. So that works quite well. And then we can do something over here. Not sure what yet. Let's just bring a road off the side. And like I said, I kind of like the idea of maybe making a little touristy hotel area, perhaps somewhere over here. We still haven't got, airports unlocked. It's a long way to go until we get there. What we could even do is we could even put in a little not subway, a little what's the thing I'm looking for? Cable car, maybe running down to this block just here. That might be something we could look at. Have we got cable cars unlocked yet? Yes, we do. Okay, so let's look at putting in a cable car somewhere over here. Let's create a little side road coming off the edge. Oh, the school's there. It's not going to let me do it like that. Okay, let's try curving it round instead. Okay, so we've got a cable car in, and now we need to create a stop. Where's that going to run from? Is it the back of the building? It is. And we could run a basic cable car just up here. Oh, look at that. You can really raise those up quite a lot as well. That's kind of cool. So we need to basically put this building in on the other side first before we do anything else. So should make sure we've got a bus that stops nearby. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we've got a bus that stops right next to our cable car. That's kind of cool. I like that. So somewhere along here, if I just put a little side road in here like that. And this is not necessarily going to be a permanent addition just here, but you know, we want to play about with some of these new features from mass transit, so let's play about with them. Oh, it won't let me put bent... Oh, of course, you wouldn't get bent tracks, would you, on cable cars? But there we go. We've got a nice little cable car connection there, just running back and forth between our two areas. I don't know if anyone will use it, but we can certainly we can certainly give it a try. See what happens. And like I said, we could put in a nice little area up here, I think, where we can actually do something. You know, we've still got things like the stables that we haven't dropped in yet. You know, there's a few different buildings and building types that we can bring in. take a road along there like that. Take that out completely. It doesn't want to do a straight snap on. That's annoying. Let's look at doing this. Kind of run this along here like this. It's a little bit too long. Just run a little loop around here. A little area for us to build into. There we go. So we've got a little space to do something up here, and we've obviously got our little cable car connection. You can see the cable cars whizzing through. That's really cool. Oops. Can we see anybody waiting down below? There's one person sitting on a bench down there. Passenger service, none. That's because this one isn't powered or watered. And there's nothing up here to travel to anyway. So, yeah, not expecting anything major from that. But what I will do is to just turn these off for now. There we go. We'll come back and we'll turn those on later. So we can have a little touristy area up here, I think. Something. We'll do something in this little block here. I don't think we'll put residential there. I think this area here is going to be our main kind of residential area. Maybe put a little bit of residential over here. Makes sense to maybe bring a road off on that angle there. Hell, we could even look at connecting it in like that, couldn't we? Let's try doing that. Let's run this road along here. There we go. So our area up here is starting to take a little bit of shape. We've still got, you know, some kind of connection over here that we want to do. And maybe this could be... We have a natural forest already over here. Maybe I could actually just go ahead and drop in some dirt paths around here. And then beef the forest up a little bit. Have a little side road that comes over here. Like a dirt road, and just create this kind of walking track around here, perhaps. There we go. So we've kind of got a little kind of forest path. And then we're going to need a little forest road. And what I can do is I can drop in like a picnic area, hopefully. There we go. It's not well lit because it's the middle of the night and these dirt roads don't have side streets, but we've potentially got a little forest area to walk through here, which I think could be a nice little scenic thing, if nothing else. Obviously we need a way to connect that to our road. Again, I can't see a damn thing. We are whizzing through at full speed, so There we go, sun's coming up. We can start to see what we're doing again now. So we've got a little dirt path just there. Let's see if I can find another spot where we can put a little connection in. There we go. So got kind of a little access point to our little loop through here. We will make it a bit more high density. And then we were talking about the stables. Let's add the stables over here, I think. So they're in parks and plazas. There's the riding stable. I'll try and get it on the end if I can without destroying the path. I might have to destroy the path. Yeah, we'll just have to rebuild that little bit of path. Oh, actually no, that's not a good place, the way it bends up like that. Let's put it on the other side of the road, which is what I should have done the first time. There we go. Now I need to rebuild this pathway. And let's actually take it all the way to the edge like this. Let's, instead of having a connecting loop like that, let's take this bit out as well. There we go. Let's create a nice little feature like that. Little loopy path to walk along. I need to do a little bit of restructuring on the zoning. Take that out, take that out. There we go. I'm going to pause for a second. Just while I try and drop in some water like that. Hopefully that'll be enough coverage. It is, excellent. Is there anything else we can add over here? Beach volleyball courts, no. Restaurant, piers, this is all water stuff. Fishing tours, fishing piers. We don't really want a skate park over here. So we can drop a small park in the entrance way to this. There we go. And we are getting some people coming up here, look. That's awesome. And there's our horse kind of just running around in a circle. So we've got a nice little scenic block here just to fill up some of this space here. He's going to throw some more trees in there just to really... where is it? There we go. Just to really fill this area out a bit. It's a shame you can't build things on the side of paths. You know, I think that, you know, it'd be great if you could have like a pedestrian path that you could build off, so you could actually create these sort of footpath only access for, you know, for buildings. But it's just unfortunately not something we're able to do. I'm guessing there's a mod that lets people do that on PC. Just going to throw in all these different tree types just to really make it an eclectic mix of forestry. too, if I were to rezone this now as an industrial area, they would go absolutely nuts for this place. There's so many trees. I've had lumber plants popping up all over the place. And I really want to give it that kind of forest track road feel. Let's really try and get as many trees in this block as we can. There we go, that gives kind of a cool little feel, going to a stable and a park over here, and then we've got a little track that if you feel like walking down there at night and perhaps getting murdered, then you can do that if you want to. Excellent stuff. Now it's pitch black and we can't see what we've just built because there's no lighting. Lovely. Still not sure what to do with this area. We'll probably come back to that at some point in the future, but for now let's carry on working on this bit over here. I think from here actually we could probably bring a double road out. I'm doing this for spacing so that I can play about with choices of what to put in here instead of just a plain old dual carriageway. So maybe switch it over to bus lane traffic like that, or what I do want to play about with as well is this new road type here, the large avenue with grass. That's something I want to try and mess around with at some point, but until we get to that point I want to just use this as kind of spacing road, I suppose would be the right way to put it. Plus this is our bypass, that kind of our ring road that runs around our city. Let's bring it up to here. We'll put another roundabout in up here. Another small one. Only just built this thing and already we've got maintenance trucks coming over here to boost it. Gotta love their dedication. This could be interesting. Want to take those side pieces out. Might have to do a little terraforming over there. And then the main sort of ring road is going to carry on around this way. Loop back around over here. There we go. That's an interesting little off-camber dip on that corner, but it adds a little bit of character. I think it might be a bit too steep. We might have to terraform a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And now we've got a nice little area here that we can build in as well, with side streets coming off, and this could be a nice little low density zone over here as well. So let's see. Let's continue that road a little bit. I want to be careful. I don't want there to be, just choke points like this and like this in too many places. I do want traffic to kind of come down here and use, main roads coming off here. So I think I'll do those first. It's a shame you can't set speed limits on roads as well. You can set these sort of dual carriageways at say 50 or 60 miles an hour. Set these at only 30. Something like that. Just a way to encourage traffic to stay on these outside roads more often, rather than sort of trying to cut through various different loops of the interior roads. Because as we've discussed, traffic will always try and take the very shortest possible route they can, regardless of where it actually takes them. So you build these kind of ring roads for them to stay on to make travel easier, and they completely ignore them half the time. And it's a little frustrating. Okay, so we've got this kind of... That's very steep, isn't it? Oh well, it can't be helped, unfortunately. So take that out. In fact, actually, let's try and terraform this lip down a bit, because it is a little bit higher on that lip for some reason. There we go, and now let's smooth that out as much as we can. Let's rebuild our roundabouts again. 3 squares, there we go. Excellent stuff. Oh dear. Okay, that didn't work as well as I'd hoped. Let's try that again. That's a bit smoother. We've got a little bit of a steep climb just on that little bit there, and then it smooths out on the approach there. Let's go one further. Let's continue that smoothing process. Not enough soil. We'll just smooth the edges of this, just so we can claim some of that soil back. There we go. So let's try and smooth this out again. How does that look? Looks better. It's still a little steep in places, but it's certainly a lot better than it was. And we're almost out of time, actually. So I think we'll end the episode just here. We've run on for a good few, a good 50 odd minutes or so. I did say that I needed to add in another named area, didn't I? Just going through the list, seeing who's next. The Dave Ray 40 has requested a road name. Let's see. Which road shall we rename? He's just left it very sort of unspecified. I think we'll make this road here by the station. You know, Dave's road. There we go. So now we have Rave Lane. And what I do want to show you, because it's not showing it the way I want it to, is this is how we discussed this, I think, the first part, but we never actually really physically showed you. This is how you change roads and their lengths. So I want Rave Lane to come up to that junction there. So you can see that from that point onwards it then becomes just generic named Max Street, and then Rave Lane is basically going to be our little station bypass road. So this goes all the way back to the roundabout, which is not what I want. I want that to be a separate road. So there we go. If we take it to that junction there, you can see Rave Lane starts here at that junction, and then does that little right angle and goes up to that junction, and there we go. That is Rave Lane, and that's how you can take one street and turn it into two, or take two streets and turn them into one by dragging it across and overwriting into a different area. But there we go. A little chance to see the street, naming tool in action, and how to choose, which names get applied, to which parts of the street. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with another episode of City Skylines Mass Transit very soon.